These monks make a vow to themselves. They carry a knife and they carry a rope. Two methods in which they can state, well, this is my option. I either use this knife or hang by this rope before I give up on my journey. The demon sermon on the martial art, true no mind, exists nowhere. It's delightfully confusing. It's book list today. So I boiled it down to the ones that I obsess over the most. First off, Demon Sermon of the Martial Arts. So what's happened here is the Tengu are having a conversation among themselves about the mind. And one Tengu has asked another, so what if you introduce martial arts into this? How does that expand upon studying with the mind? The demon answered, the mind is nothing but one's nature and emotions. One's nature is the law of the essence of the mind. When it is calm and unmoving, it has neither color nor form. But, depending on the movement of the emotions, there is wrong, there is right, there is good, and there is evil. Look at the mysterious function of the essence of the mind, and according to change of emotions, you will understand the difference between natural law and human desire. This is called the art of learning. Okay, they're kind of anticlimactic when I retell them, but they're really worth a read. Ninjutsu. This goes through like a little bit of story, a little bit of history, a little bit of their postures. The first picture book in which I know this is like real weaponry that I can look at. Move over to classical weapons of Japan. I know they're all my favorite, but I'm just going to keep saying that they're my favorite because this is my favorite. Foldable handheld yaris. This book has items I'd never seen before. When we jump to actually proper Menriki Kusari, the 10,000 power chain, the prettiest Kusurigama, and within it all is a slight bit of information about each one of the tool, describing hand guards or blade length, or who invented them, just like little stories. It's a wonderful shuriken. The hidden knives. It's just great. It's just great. Proper little kunai. The author has, most of these are from his collection, and he writes from author's collection. I state that only for the inspiration that it gives me to one day have my own picture book of tools. But if we're talking about picture books, and this is a great picture book, I have to go to my favorite picture book, which is the Arms and Armor of the Samurai. This comes back to just another reference tool that the pictures are, for the most part, colored. As I can share, here's the Kanabo. So this book is fabulous because of the color pictures. Again, it's got small amounts of history, not so much into a depth into construction, but it does give materials used, time period, who was associated with them, and some just fabulous examples of pieces that were just fabulous pieces. Warlords of Japan. This is part of an exhibition that was held that had, if I remember correctly, 33 suits of Sengoku Jidai daimyo armor. And they were all on display in 3 separate museums within the city. The work that went into these helms, that it gives such detail on the individual the parts. Yeah, that's a favorite. So this is the top-notch, highest level, evolutionary standpoint of my picture books. Oh, we're not following the list at all anymore. I'm just showing you my favorite books. I'm going to go to construction, the craft of the Japanese sword. So this picture shows 2 very different methods. The traditional method, high carbon on the outside and that lower, like 60% carbon on the inside to give that little flexibility with just that wonderful representation. This one evolves to the next level of one of his next books, The Art of the Japanese Sword. This book is fabulous. It is a giant picture book. I'm noticing the trend. It tells so much of the story. And in so much of the story in this, I have to go back. In this book, it is all of the story. Where's that sword? Straight sword. That is an old school. This is how the swords looked before they had that iconic curvature. They were all straight bladed swords with that wonderful chisel edge. Really, you'd think it is the ninja sword. Also hard to do because when you are like looking at the Sonobe, whenever you're forging out the ha, the edge, it's curving the sword and then you have to straighten it back with the mune. So that is continually being done with this blade. When we get into the carving, the polishing, and the sword is brought up to a yellow heat. That's far, you would not quench it then, you'd destroy the sword. It would not be good for the sword. But then the forges drop back down again, and the sword is now brought to that just non-magnetic, like 803 degrees Celsius. It's that slowing down. So the clay is still going to stop that backside from getting rapidly cooled, and the clay will do exactly what it needs on the very front of the hamon, allowing that added surface area to get a really bright hamon. He describes it perfectly. I found that a confusing portion of this build, and he clarifies all of that information so well. I don't know why shaking means extra, but apparently it does. The Marathon Monks of Mount Hiei. Looking upon the Marathon Monks of Mount Hiei, the inspiration is for me about what they do. They've made a statement that I will walk this path, and they carry a knife and a rope, and both are to end their lives if they don't finish what they've stated they're going to do. There's a lot of discipline. The philosophy, the questioning, the understanding, but in this point, sheer determination of will. Putting that in the philosophy books. Because within that, I've got to jump to Hagakure. Hagakure is one of those little handbooks. It's more of proverbs. It's different statements. Ooh, I already have one marked. Which one do I want to choose? It is said that even after one's head has been cut off, he can still perform some function. This fact can be known from the example of Nita Yoshisada in Onodoken. How shall one man be inferior to another? Mitajoku said, even if a man be sick to death, he can bear up to 2 or 3 days. And it's knowledge like that you get to think upon going, I have a clue what you're talking about. And that's why having a translator that does their job well is so important. I trust this man. What's being said? I don't have a clue. I don't have it marked. There is a passage in here of a samurai talking of the samurai of past, stating that they were strong back then. The people today, they're just not as strong. They're not strong. It's exactly what's said today. Zen Speaks. I love this book. No matter which page you turn on to, the blind man carrying the lantern, you couldn't ask for better opening up. When a blind man was leaving his friend's house, the friend handed him a lantern to take on his way. I don't need a lantern. It's all the same to me, whether it's dark or light. But the friend, I know. But if you don't have a light with you, someone might accidentally run into you. The blind man kind of reluctantly goes, okay, sure. Takes the light and wanders on his way. Then rams into somebody later on and exclaims, can't you see the light right in front of your face? Which, of course, is commented to, your light was already out. Then he gives a little thought bubble to give you more information. Let's read his. Using another person's idea to enlighten another person is like a blind man carrying a lantern. The light may go out long ago, and you will never know. That accounts for so many things. We have to use our own words. We have to use our own understandings. We must practice. We must also be aware of what information is ours, what have we gained, and what information is still others that we still need to understand upon. I'll say no more on this book. I don't even know if you can get this book, but this is the one I would recommend out of any of the books to get. The Tenshi Jin. This is Hatsumi's book to teach others to share ninjutsu. It gives you so much information. You need a key for the Tenshi Jin. If you haven't had actual training in the art of Ninpo Taijutsu, this book makes no sense. And even having a fair amount of training in Ninpo Taijutsu, you need to really work at what this book is teaching you. But it teaches you everything. All of the information is in there. You just have to have a teacher to open it up. Enter this book. This book is my notes that I wrote while in the dojo to better understand this book. It's all put in a language that I know, I can read, and I can work with. Empty space, gyokoru, koshijutsu, koku. Step forward with the right high punch. Awesome. So the attacker is attacking my face. As the defender, I'm to slide back to the right, apply a left inside blocking strike from a defensive posture, doko or tenshijin no kamae as examples, then immediately shift forward with the right omote shuto to the attacker's right forearm while leaning in with the left knee to allow a body weight to provide the power for the strike and also to create the target. Now, isn't that as clear as mud? I have to have my brain to understand this one, but it's as close as I can get. But I feel that's the beautiful thing, that we are sharing this information through books, through paper, kind of get to see into their mind. But without the application of space, without putting energy into this book through practice with others. So I refer to this as my Tenshijin, because this is the one that makes sense to me, and it is nonsensical. But it is definitely my absolute favorite book. The Lone Samurai. So Miyamoto Musashi, who this book is about, it is his life, and I really like this story. There's something about following and seeing how, even at 13, was totally headstrong, saw a world that he was going to participate in and was going to do it his way. I guess I could find a little bit of relation to that. He really had no teachers, but he sure had a lot of friends. And one friend wrote The Unfettered Mind, and I will quote him directly here. There is nothing dearer to us than life, whether one be rich or poor. If they do not live out a long life, they will not accomplish their true purpose. Even if one had to throw away thousands in wealth and valuables to do so, life is something we should buy. It is said that life is of small account compared with right-mindedness. In truth, it is right-mindedness that is most esteemed. Nothing is more precious than life. Yet, at the moment when we must throw away this valued life and stand on the right-mindedness, there is nothing more highly esteemed than right-mindedfulness. This guy is amazing. Tanzu. Traditional furniture. The picture quality. What you can understand of these tools. How they were used. They give the full sizes. They give the history. What would have been stored in them. Who would have used them. Time periods. This book is just got it all. And this is, I think, my favorite picture of maybe all of my books. I'm putting it out there that all of this, I want a specific kind of genre of tool, and then I will make my own picture book. I would like a picture book that maybe one day someone else will hold on to and show us like, yeah, no, this is my favorite like picture book of just creations. I have a lot of work ahead of me. So with all that said, I should shut up and get back to work.